you'd like to discuss issues raised in this episode and episodes of the future, we always have a Discord link down in the description below. You can join the conversation, and we will, in the future, post information about episodes prior to the episodes airing, where we can get your audience feedback and critique, interest, what you think about it, different perspectives on the issues. As well, we're going to be taking audience submissions for ideas that you'd like covered on the show, stories you'd like covered. Maybe there's someone that you want me to debate or have a discussion with, or just watch their video and critique it in real time. That is all welcome and more at the Free Thought Left Discord server. Join us in the conversation and help us make a more free thought left. Thanks, guys. So we are continuing with our coverage of Buttigieg and his town hall performance on Fox. He was asked a question, and this is one of the only questions he was asked that he really answered with policy specifics or some specifics. Almost every question he answered was very vague. Just, I want to inspire innovation, things like that. But here he does give a couple of policy preferences, and so I figured I would highlight this one because it's one of those few examples where we can actually talk about a concrete thing that he's proposed. So let's see what he has to say on the college funding crisis.
As a student entering college next year, my question is, how are you going to address the student debt crisis that affects so many of us?
Yeah, thanks for raising that. Are you attending here in New Hampshire? Do you know yet? Or?
No, I'm attending Harvard next year.
Oh, okay. All right, good stuff.
Harvard.
So, look,
This ain't a
college
stacked
affordability
audience.
is reaching crisis levels now. And this is a personal issue for us because our household has six-figure debt right now. And we can't go on like this. Not if we want to be a country where education has actually traditionally been an engine of mobility. It's how people of every background were able to get ahead. So there's some things we need to do on the back end, like I think if I can refinance the mortgage rate on a house, you ought to be able to do that with your student debt. And I think we ought to have more...
You clap for that?
We also have more ways to work that debt off, like the public service loan forgiveness program, which I think is a really great idea, but it's almost impossible to access those benefits. We also should be doing something on the front end so that when you're getting to be my age someday, you're not faced with those same issues. And that's where we've got to make sure that Pell Grants are massively expanded so that they are actually, and this time, let's actually peg it to inflation so we don't have to go back to Congress every time. We got to work with states, and I'm afraid New Hampshire is among the one where the state does the least to keep college costs under control, but it's happening all over the country. So we got to work with the states and press them using a kind of carrot and stick approach from the federal government in order to make sure that they are carrying enough of the load that it doesn't all come down on the students. And then we got to look at those other opportunities that make it possible for students through things like service to be able to get whatever debt they do emerge with, which I think should be zero if you're a low or middle income student. I'm not prepared to promise that for the child of a billionaire going to any school, but I do think for everybody, if you have any college debt at all, there should be opportunities to have that reduced or waived based on things like public service.
Mayor,
Okay, so really bad answer. Really bad answer. I mean, talking about the Democratic Party here, this is a bad answer for the Democratic Party. You're running in the Democratic Party, a party where 75% of Democrats, according to a 2018 Reuters poll, support free public college tuition paid for by a tax on Wall Street speculation. That was last year, and 3/4 of your party supports that. And then a smaller percentage who are like on the fence, right? So the vast majority of your party supports that, and you come out in favor of refinancing student debt, expanding the Pell Grants, and granting some extra money if you do public service. Okay, this is unreal. Education is an engine of mobility. Seriously, I'm Obama. I just want you to know I'm Obama. Me? I'm Obama, okay? That's what I'm running on. I'm Obama. I'll be him. I'll do exactly what he did. Dude, that wasn't hugely popular. I mean, he was more popular than other presidents, but he was a giant fucking mixed bag. Dude, you should not be modeling yourself after him, after his his spawn, the person that came after him and followed every bit of his advice, practically every bit of his advice, just got her ass handed to her by a disgusting candidate, Donald Trump. So you are not going to run the same strategy and then beat him the second time around. I at least I highly doubt it. I mean, he's got to fuck up pretty bad. I mean, he is fucking up pretty bad, but when are they going to learn? When are they going to learn? You should be able to refinance student debt. Wow, how bold. How bold. Such a giant leap forward for the country. Expand Pell Grants, peg it to inflation. Okay, peg it to inflation. Like, yeah, that's nice and all, but this is the first concrete policy he proposed in this entire town hall. I mean, admittedly, some parts are just so fucking boring, I kind of skimmed it, so I may have missed a little bit in between, but as far as I can tell, every other question he answered up to this point had zero policy solutions. This is the first one he proposes, and it is this lukewarm... Again, this is the Democratic Party. This isn't the Republican Party. Like, I get that maybe you don't support like the most progressive option, which, you know, universal public college tuition is not the most progressive option, but this is the Democratic Party, and those issues, I'm sorry, keep it real, they're just popular in this party. This party wants that, and he refuses to go that far. You are going to get destroyed if you keep with this bullshit. You are going to get annihilated. You know, rebuilding our infrastructure, rebuilding completely new green infrastructure, a bold and extensive medical plan that includes, you know, mental health and drug addiction and glasses, teeth, etc. These all require from semi-skilled to high-skill labor. And to meet the demand of all these jobs, we need a bold education system that can accommodate that can create a new wave and a new generation of people that can fill these positions, okay? We are way undereducated in this society, and your plan is to let people refinance their fucking loans. Man, shut the fuck up. No one wants to hear that shit. How have you not figured this out at this point? Do you not read a single poll for your own fucking party? Sorry I'm getting so heated, but god damn, man, we've been through this. I don't even know how many times. My entire life we've been through this shit, and I'm getting at this point, I'm getting too old for it. Use federal government pressure to pressure states into investing in higher education. Oh, are you going to do that? You're going to do that? You're going to pressure the states into funding it when states are already hurting. They're already trying to keep up and pay for education through property taxes, which largely is, you know, in some areas that are rich, it does well. In some areas that are poor, it doesn't. So yes, to an extent, the federal government needs to step in and they need to take a front seat approach on this. And we need to, I mean, go back to the video I just did on Bernie's plan and compare that to this, where he has a bold direction. And yes, maybe I don't support 10 or 20% of that. Maybe there's some things where I'm like, okay, Bernie, maybe you go too far on this or whatever. Maybe this is a little too pie in the sky. But I'd rather have something that's 80% solid, concrete options that will give us, you know, a bold, new, impressive approach to this that extends education and extends the options that you have on the table, and have a few things that are just kind of like wishy-washy, than have his solution, which is like the stuff we've been doing for 20 or 30 years that has not made any, it hasn't moved the needle, is the point. Oh my God. Provide opportunities to ease debt as a reward for service. Debt should ideally be zero for low and middle income students, but I'm not prepared to promise that for a child of a billionaire. This is that means testing bullshit again that the Democrats were running around with, trying to take, you know, trying to own and burn Bernie with by being like, oh, he wants to give education, higher education to everybody, including the rich. Huh? A universal system? How absurd. You know, I would rather the rich pay more in fucking taxes and pay their goddamn taxes and get free education than for them to continue paying a historically low amount and then we don't give them higher education. I mean, like, ultimately, higher education is not that expensive. The estimates range from $40 billion to $65 billion a year to fund tuition-free public college. That's it. We have a $2.3 trillion budget, and this is a tiny ass 40 to 60 billion for the entire country to get college, and you're nitpicking and wringing your hands over like, we'll expand the Pell Grants, we'll refinance your loans, we'll if you do public service, we'll establish a proving grounds of doing public service, whatever the fuck that. Are you talking like community public service? Are you talking about service in the military? Because they already get college. So like, I don't know specifically what he means by public service, but having a proving grounds of how much public service you do to decide whether you're going to be saddled with debt for the rest of your life just for going to school is like, that is the most technocratic, typical Democrat bullshit I have ever seen. And these people are just so afraid to be bold. They're so afraid to put their foot in the door of going into the future, of modernizing this goddamn country. And the sad part is you go to the comments on this video and people are like, and I swear this has got to be like bot comments. These have got to be bots. This guy is worth watching. I wish this town hall was way longer. What an amazing intellect. He gives such thoughtful and honest answers to questions put to him. He's brilliant. He has my vote. Mayor Pete has something none of the Democratic superstars have. He's genuine. He's genuine? You think this motherfucker is genuine? Just wait till you get to the fucking just disgusting Game of Thrones plug of like, I mean, it's Hillary 2.0. You should Pokemon go to the polls. That's what he is. Do you guys like Game of Thrones? I like Game of Thrones. I want Daenerys to win. Actually, I don't know about Daenerys because she's been making some questionable decisions. Can you tell I've watched it? Can you tell I've watched the stuff that you watch? I'm a normal guy. Man, God damn it, I'm getting way ahead of myself. But this guy gets me so worked up just thinking about him. After I see shit like this, that was a silly performance. That was a cringy performance. It was hard to watch. It was boring. It almost put me to sleep the second time I watched it. And I'm on 2 energy drinks. I'm hyped up right now, and I still almost fell asleep. But God damn it, Pete, just drop out. Drop out before you embarrass yourself any further. For the love of God. Is there anything I'm missing here? I don't think so. I think I've just about covered it, but we still got one more story to do on this guy, and the next one's just going to be a laugh, but let's just get through it.